Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. We have a very special one today. Today, we are talking about The Brutalist. We are fresh out of our press screening for this film, and I'm just going to go ahead and dive into this one, Nicholas. Oh my God, this movie is fantastic. Like, unbelievable. Like, I didn't really have expectations going in. I just knew it was long. That's all I knew. This is easily one of the best films of the year, if not number one. I'm debating in my head if I think it's the best film of the year. I have no idea why that thumb
back
popped
and
up.
forth all day for me too.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But sorry for those animations. I have no idea what's triggering them. But essentially, I went on such an emotional journey with this movie. And, I want to give credit where credit's due to the filmmakers involved. This one was directed by Brady Corbet, if that's how you pronounce it, who's actually an actor. He was actually in Funny Games and a couple other projects. Adrien, Brody, and Felicity Jones absolutely crush their roles in this movie. I would not be surprised if they get Oscar nominations. Guy Pearce was incredible as well. And Joe Alwyn, who played Guy Pearce's son, was such a bitch. Like, his performance is so good. Like, you're supposed to hate him. My God, did I hate him the whole movie. And eventually, Jesus Christ, do you hate Guy Pearce? I'm not going to dive into spoilers, but this film is truly remarkable. And like, I genuinely have a hard time finding flaws with the movie. And this movie's 3.5 hours long. This
with
is
an intermission.
Yes, it's 3.5 hours long with a 15-minute intermission, which, by the way, loved the intermission. And it was clearly designed at the perfect place in the movie. And we talked about last year about intermissions. I loved it. But this is a 3.5 hour movie. I wouldn't remove a goddamn frame. I would not remove a thing that's in this film. You watch a beautiful, sprawling story as it goes. And by the end of the movie, I genuinely felt like, wow. Like, I just, sometimes when you watch a movie and you just tell yourself, like, God, I love movies. Like, that's how I felt at the end. I was thoroughly blown away by how much I love this film. Nicholas, what were some of your thoughts? Give it to me.
I mean, not to mince words, but I mean, masterpiece.
Listen, that word can get thrown around. I thought about using it.
It was definitely it's one of those movies where you watch it and you're like, I think this is going to be big. And even if it doesn't get the popularity or, the Oscar buzz aside, like, the box out, I feel like it's a big piece of cinema. And something that's going to be referenced a lot back. I mean, even from the opening frame, just one shout out I want to make is to the composer.
Yes.
Daniel Blumberg.
Amazing
I mean,
score.
just from the opening score, you were just like in this emotional ride and you're like, man, if this carries throughout the rest of this movie, and this is the opening frames, it's really going to be fantastic. And like you said, I was sort of worried about the intermission. Not that I disliked an intermission, just that I was worried that it was going to sort of take me out of the movie too much. And literally, the minute the movie started back up, I was crying.
Yeah,
like the way they placed it and posted, I was like, oh man, I am invested in these characters in this story, which is just a massive testament to the scale. And the budget being only roughly around 10 million, apparently,
insane.
For a 3.5 hour movie starring Adrien Brody is just crazy to me.
Insanity.
And just this decades long story about architecture and the American story was just so powerful and beautiful. It was just a great experience.
No, I agree. And it's literally a movie that begs the question, what if you came here for the American dream only to realize I should have never come here? Like, what a haunting question to, like, propose to an audience and give you that story as it sprawls throughout the entire runtime. And I was just enthralled with everything. And, like, I also want to shout out the cinematography. Let me pull up the DOP's name here. The cinematography on this film was gorgeous. There are several images in the film that are still, like, striking my head. Lal Crawley is the name of the cinematographer. It was so gorgeously shot. Like, the shot that's the poster, when it hits in the movie, it's such a good sequence. And the directing as well by Brady. There are several long take sequences that are meticulously planned out that are just manipulated in the best possible way. There are so many story threads throughout a 3.5-hour movie that literally all come together by the end of the runtime. Some of them get paid off pretty quickly. Some of them, take a minute. Some of them are paid off at the very, very end, right before the credits. Mm-hmm. It was just such a great cinematic journey, and it made me just feel happy that, like, yeah, you can still fucking make movies like that. You can make a 3.5-hour epic story for a low budget and have it be one of the best movies of the year, if not the best movie of the year. I'm literally going to be not being able to sleep tonight, deciding on if this is better than Dune Part 2. That's literally going to be my whole argument.
I mean, the thing about it, too, is it knew when to go big in grand scale. It knew when to really just close up in the intimate scenes. The performances knew when to be nuanced, when to go grand, because you really get, in 3.5 hours of runtime, you have a lot of room to play, especially as an actor. And I feel like there's a lot of ways where that can go wrong. But I felt like every character just knew what they were doing perfectly.
Yeah, no, 100%. And not only that, but the movie also had an incredible sense of pacing, which for a fucking 3.5-hour movie is required.
Make or break.
That's you can't have a movie that's paced poorly at that length. Like when the intermission happened, like I'd felt like I'd watched about a feature length of a film, but when it happened, I was like, oh shit, we're about halfway done. Like like I was genuinely enthralled by everything happening, which is also a testament to the screenplay, which we haven't really given credit to. The screenplay was incredibly well written, and I believe the director co-wrote it with somebody. I'm going to pull up their name as well. Mana Fastvold. Amazing screenplay. And look, I know that it's you guys are watching a YouTube video where we're just like giving this movie nothing but praise, but believe the fucking hype. It was such a beautiful movie-going experience. And, it is a slow burn drama, so, don't go in there expecting it's going to be, like, 3 hours of this, like, action masterpiece, but just the level of storytelling here is just so top-notch. Like, I literally would have to watch the film again to figure out what I don't like about it. Like, it's one of those situations.
The first time you watch it, you're just so enthralled in everything that's happening. And honestly, like I said before, this budget whole thing, you can't but help be amazed as well. Just looking at the technical aspect and the technical scale of the movie and what they were able to do is just crazy.
Yeah, and that's A24. That's A24. Mm-hmm. And I think to kind of just give my final thought on this movie is 3.5 hours, and I cannot wait to watch this movie again. Mm-hmm. I will go watch it again in theaters. Like, I can't wait. A24, please make a fucking 4K Blu-ray, please. I'm begging you. I want to buy it so badly. I want to have it on my shelf.
Do they not really?
I mean, it's back and forth.
Gotcha.
But I can't spring the praises of this movie enough. Mm-hmm. The Brutalist is a beautiful cinematic journey that I think everyone should experience. Period.
No, I agree. It was. I'm very glad I got to see it. I didn't really know much about it going in, and it blew me away personally.
Yes. And whenever you guys get a chance to see it, please let us know what you thought in the comments below. I would love to hear the conversation surrounding this film. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next review.